about Maroon 5 on a Tuesday? And how about a look over Indianapolis? Looks like the canal there in the background as we get your Tuesday morning started. It's going to be a nice day for us eventually. Got to get through that fog, which you probably are wiping the fog out of your eyes as you get your Tuesday started. It's not evenings. We've got Anne-Marie here with us in the morning for this week.
Yes, it is 6 a.m.
Yes.
Don't get confused. All right, just my body's confused. We're happy to be here. Happy Tuesday. We hope that your day is getting off to a great start, and we want you to be aware that there is some pretty dense fog out there right now.
Yeah, and we now have 6 school delays to let you know about. Most of them in Shelby County, also Hancock County. I'll briefly run down through some of these right now, but we will be updating WTHR.com as more potential delays do come in. So we're talking Eastern Hancock County Schools, Mount Vernon Community, Shelbyville Central, Greenfield Central, Shelby Eastern, as well as Southern Hancock Schools, all under a 2-hour delay right now. That is the 6. Again, potentially could see more because this is what it looks like. Here's the fog down in Columbus right now. This is where visibility has been under about 1/4 of a mile. And this is where that dense fog advisory is in effect for most of southeastern Indiana. This does include Newcastle over to Wayne County. Also, a secondary area of a dense fog advisory was just issued from northern Indiana for that Weather Service office there. That's going to be in effect through 9 o'clock this morning. Check visibility out. 0 miles in Shelbyville all the way down from Indianapolis to really Cincinnati. That's 74 corridor. 0 miles for your visibility there. Same deal in Richmond as well as now up in Lafayette. So the fog will stick with us over the next few hours as our temperatures will hold steady, mainly in the low 60s out of the bus stops this morning. Again, if you've got that 2-hour delay closer to 9 a.m., we should start to see this mixing out. 69 by 10 a.m., a stray shower possible, a high of 77 this afternoon. We'll talk more about that rain timeline as a cold front moves through later today. But first, it's 6:02. I want to get you out to the traffic center. And again, fog's going to be continuously kind of that main thing that we're talking about, not only weather-wise, but traffic-wise as well. Take a look at our road weather index that we've got fired up. Fog has basically moved out of just north of the Indy metro area, but again, it's that 74 corridor in between Shelbyville and Greensburg where we're seeing some of that more dense fog. Also, I've had dense fog reported from Columbus down to Seymour and over to Bedford as well. No accidents or delays to report as we speak, but we'll continue to monitor that and let you know if we see any issues as you hit the roadways this morning.
Thank you, Lindsay. Right now at 6:02, police are investigating a deadly crash involving a pedestrian. This is in Hancock County.
This was breaking news. We brought you 13 News at 11 last night. Let's get you up to date on the latest this morning. So this happened in Fortville, Hancock County. Police say the victim in this case was in a motorized wheelchair and on the road near the intersection of North Madison and Illinois Street when he was hit.
The driver of the car stayed on the scene, according to what police tell 13 News, and is cooperating with the investigation. She was taken to the hospital with injuries, but they're not thought to be life-threatening. And at this hour, police do not believe drugs or alcohol are factors in that crash.
This morning, we are working to find out who the victim is, and we will pass along new information on all of our 13 News platforms as soon as we get it.
Another update this morning. We now know a 15-year-old boy is in police custody connected to the death of an 18-year-old in Beech Grove. Her name is Michaela Bauman. She was shot Monday night at Parkview Apartments. Her family tells us that's where she lived. Investigators say that 15-year-old boy was taken into custody at a home near 34th and Emerson in Indianapolis. Right now, he faces a preliminary charge of murder.
Right now, we're working to find out the condition of a man after a shooting at an Indianapolis park. It happened yesterday afternoon after officers found him in a vehicle not far from the Bertha Ross Park. That's near 38th and MLK. According to police, the victim told officers that he was at the basketball courts when someone shot at him. Investigators tell 13 News they're now working to find any possible suspects, and they certainly would like to hear from you. If you know anything about it, please call IMPD.
And Metro Police are also searching for the driver of a person who hit and killed a woman on the city's northwest side.
This happened Monday morning, and today we're still working to learn that woman's name. Matthew Foltz is live where that deadly crash happened and has concerns from some of the neighbors that live in that area. Matthew?
Yeah, Anne-Marie and Julia, some of the concerns from neighbors living here is, one, how fast people drive up and down this stretch, and two, just how dark it is. If you take a look over my shoulder, you can see this street lamp is out right here, and this is the intersection where that woman was shot. Meanwhile, Some ways down the street, you have more street lamps. However, it's spotty, so neighbors say it's really dark out here in certain areas and hard for people to see if you're crossing the street. Now, Metro Police tell us that this fatal hit and run happened yesterday morning around 6:30 near the intersection of North High School Road near 38th Street. Now, police say the woman died at the scene when officers arrived and the driver was nowhere to be found. In just the last 3 years, IMPD responded to 3 fatal hit and runs in this area alone, all of them happening while it was dark out. And neighbors that spoke to 13 News say enough is enough.
I would definitely suggest to slow down and definitely stop and see if you can help at least.
Just slow down, like, you feel me? Everybody got kids. You got kids too, just slow down.
And this morning, police are still searching for that driver responsible for this deadly hit and run. They're asking anyone with any information to give police a call. And Jalea and Anne-Marie, I want to mention that throughout the morning we've been here, we've seen several people come from this convenience store crossing this street. Again, a lot of traffic picking up as people head to work. So it just goes to show you how busy and dangerous this intersection can be.
Especially as dark as it is out there, Matthew. Stay safe. Well, it's 6:06 right now. We are taking a look at the AES outages that have impacted thousands of neighbors across the metro over the past few days.
Right now, around 1,100 people in central Indiana still don't have power, and some of them have had that situation all the way since Friday, so the days are adding up. AES says the crews have been out working around the clock to get the power restored to everybody. Sia New Yorker has been covering this story.
Sia, what do we know right now about getting the last of those customers finally with their lights back on? Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. You can see right behind me, all up and down College Avenue. We drove down and there were lights on and some pockets of darkness right here down Westfield Avenue. Pockets of darkness, and right here in this parking lot, the cleanup still continues here in Broad Ripple. But here's what we know at this hour. AES tells us crews have been working around the clock. There are even some crews here from Massachusetts to help restore power. Now, many people we spoke with say they've been living without electricity since the storm hit on Friday. In the meantime, some had to get creative during the tough times, using candles, battery-operated lamps, grills to cook, and stainless steel buckets to bathe. But despite the challenges, some of the Hoosiers say it could be worse.
But after you see what's going on in Florida and Asheville, like you said, you think, well, my problem is nothing compared to them because they're flooded out of their homes.
Bad. I think it's just trying to find a way to get living through it.
Again, you can see some of this debris from the storm here, broken limbs, tree branches. As the cleanup continues here in Broad Ripple, AES is hoping to restore power fully by the end of today. We'll definitely keep you updated. Reporting on Indy's North Side, Sia New Yorker, 13 News.
I hope that's the case too. Thank you, Sia. Well, we're digging into the new budget for Perry Township Schools this morning, which covers everything from teacher salaries to a bus replacement plan. But a focus of this plan, a big one, is safety and security.
That's right. The superintendent tells 13 News that district leaders are utilizing both their education fund and the operations fund to invest in safety in schools. The superintendent says they're also making sure that they have tools that allow people to report incidents and report concerns efficiently. District leaders did not address any cases specifically, but you may remember when a student was hospitalized just earlier this month after an attack at Perry Meridian High School hallway. That was in September. And then back in February, police say a substitute teacher at Perry Meridian was attacked by a 16-year-old. The superintendent says they're now having conversations about how they can best meet the mental and behavioral needs of students.
It's our first priority. You know, it's what we do to make sure that we secure a safe learning environment. Kids can't learn if they're not feeling safe, and we have a lot of things that we need to think about when it comes to safety. That's physical safety, people, training.
13 News asked if there will be any changes to the number of staff that are present in the hallways or the bathrooms there.
Well, the response to that, the superintendent says that supervision is always important and they make an effort to make sure that staff are always around in those areas.
This morning, Indy residents finally have some answers to their questions about Indigo's new Purple Line. This is that rapid transit line that extends more than 15 miles from Indianapolis out east to Lawrence. The route runs up Capitol, over to Meridian, up to 38th Street, and then out east to Post Road, heading to Fort Bend and also the campus of Ivy Tech.
So last night, Indigo hosted this event. This is at the Fort Bend Library where people could get some answers before all of this happens. Indigo leaders say the Purple Line is about more than just travel.
The Purple Line replaces, like I said, one of our most ridden routes, Route 39, but it goes through an area that has been overlooked for a really, really long time. And so not only is it better transit, but it's infrastructure improvements, it's economic development, it is all of the things that come with bus rapid transit.
Well, buses will be up and running on that Purple Line starting on Sunday, October 13th.
And heads up, drivers, if you're out and about this morning, you might see a change in your morning commute today. That's because I-465 is now closed at Harding Street. The western half of the exchange is shutting down for the next 60 days. Crews are working on the ramp reconstruction there. So this includes the eastbound exit ramp onto Harding, as well as the Harding Street entrance ramp to I-465 westbound. Lindsay?
All right, and you'll notice at the bottom of your screen now, we will be flashing all of the 2-hour delays that are now in effect. This does include several schools in Shelby as well as Hancock counties, and that list is growing longer. We've got some fog out there now, but sunshine returning later. We'll talk about the changes ahead in your forecast.